States. This led PC Data to declare it the country's 40th best-selling computer game since 1993. The Ultimate Doom sold over 780,000 units by September 1999, and all versions combined sold 3.5 million copies by the end of 1999. In addition to sales, an estimated 6 million people played the shareware version by 2002. Other sources estimated in 2000 that 20 million people played Doom within 24 months of its launch. Reviews, edit. Doom was highly praised in contemporaneous reviews. In April 1994, a few months after release, PC Gamer UK named it the third best computer game of all time, claiming Doom has already done more to establish the PC's arcade clout than any other title in gaming history, and PC Gamer US named it the best computer game of all time that August. It won the Best Action Adventure Award at Cybermania 94. Games Radar UK named Doom Game of the Year in 1993 shortly after release, and Computer Gaming World and PC Gamer UK did the same the year after. Reviewers heavily praised the single-player gameplay. Electronic Entertainment called it a skull-banging, palm-sweating, blood-pounding game, while The Age said it was a technically superb and thrilling 3D adventure. PC Zone called it the best arcade game ever, and it and Computer Gaming World praised the variety of monsters and weapons. Computer Gaming World concluded that it was a virtuoso performance. Other reviewers, while also praising the gameplay, commented on the lack of complexity. Computer and video games found it captivating and praised the variety and complexity of the level design, but called the overall gameplay repetitive, while Dragon similarly praised the fast gameplay and level design, but said that overall it lacked depth. Edge praised the graphics and levels but criticized the straightforward shooting gameplay. The review concluded, "If only you could talk to these creatures, then perhaps you could try and make friends with them, form alliances. Now, that would be interesting." The review attracted mockery, and "if only you could talk to these creatures" became a running joke in video game culture. The multiplayer gameplay was praised. Computer Gaming World called it the most intense gaming experience available, and Dragon called it the biggest adrenaline rush available on computers. PC Zone named it as the best multiplayer game available, in addition to the best arcade game. The 3D graphics and art style were praised by reviewers. Computer Gaming World called the graphics remarkable, while Edge said that it made serious advances in what people will expect of 3D graphics in future, surpassing not only prior games but games that had yet to be released. Compute and Electronic Games similarly called the graphics excellent and unlike any other games. PC Zone, Dragon, Computer Gaming World, and Electronic Entertainment all praised the atmosphere and art direction, saying that the level design, lighting effects, and sound effects combined to create a claustrophobic and nightmarish experience. Computer Gaming World also praised the music, as did the Mercury News, which called it as ominous as the scenario. Other versions, edit. The Ultimate Doom received mixed reviews upon its release in 1995, as in the review from PC Zone, which gave it a score of 90/100 for new players but 20/100 for anyone who had the original game. The reviewer viewed it as solely a level pack due to the lack of new features and compared it negatively to the hundreds of free fan-made levels available on the internet. Joystick disliked the limited amount of additional content and recommended it only to major fans or those who had not played it. Fusion reviewed the edition positively, praising the difficulty of the new levels, as did GameSpot, which reviewed it from the perspective of introducing the game to new players. The first ports of Doom received comparable reviews to the original PC version. Video games. GamePro, and Computer and Video Games all gave the Jaguar version high scores, comparing it favorably with the PC version. GamePro and Computer and Video Games also rated the 32X version highly, though they noted that the graphics were worse and the game shorter than the PC or Jaguar versions. The 1995 ports received mixed reviews. The PlayStation version was rated highly by Hobbyconsoles, GamePro, and Maximum, which praised the inclusion of Doom 2 and extra levels, and favorably compared it to other PlayStation shooter games. The SNES version, however, was noted for weaker graphics and unresponsive controls. The reviewers such as Computer and Video Games, GamePro, and Next Generation were split on awarding high or middling scores due to these faults. Later 1990s ports received worse reviews. The 3D port was panned by GamePro and Maximum for having worse graphics, a smaller screen size, and less intelligent enemies than any previous version, and the Sega Saturn port also met with low reviews for poor graphics and low quality from Mean Machines and Sega Saturn magazine. Legacy, edit. Doom has been termed inarguably the most important first-person shooter, as well as the father of the genre. Although not the first in the genre, it was the game with the greatest impact. Dan Pinchbeck in Doom, Scaradagfest, 2013, noted the direct influence of Doom's design choices on those of first-person and third-person shooter games 2 decades later, as influenced by the games released in the intervening years. Doom, and to a lesser extent Wolfenstein 3D, has been characterized as marking a turning point in the perception of video games in popular culture, with Doom and first-person shooters in general becoming the predominant perception of video games in media. Historians such as Tristan Donovan in Replay, The History of Video Games, 2010, have termed it as causing a paradigm shift, prompting the rise in popularity of 3D games, first-person shooters, licensed technology between developers, and support for game modifications. It helped spark the rise of both online multiplayer games and player-driven content generation, and popularized the business model of online distribution. In their book Dungeons and Dreamers, a story of how computer games created a global community in 2014, Brad King and John Borland claimed that Doom was one of the first widespread instances of an online collective virtual reality, and did more than any other game to create a modern world of networked games and gamers. PC Gamer proclaimed Doom the most influential game of all time in 2004, and in 2023 said its development was one of the most well-documented in the history of video games. It has also been used in scholarly research since its release, including for machine learning, video game aesthetics and design, and the effects of video games on aggression, memory, and attention. In 2007 Doom was listed among the 10 game canon video games selected for preservation by the Library of Congress, and in 2015 the Strong National Museum of Play inducted Doom to its World Video Game Hall of Fame as part of its initial set of games. Doom has continued to be included highly in lists of the best video games ever for nearly 3 decades since its release. In 1995, Next Generation said it was the most talked about PC game ever. The PC version was ranked the third best video game by Flux in 1995, and in 1996 was ranked fifth best and third most innovative by Computer Gaming World. In 2000, Doom was ranked as the second best game ever by GameSpot. The following year, it was voted the #1 game of all time in a poll among over 100 game developers and journalists conducted by GameSpy, and was ranked the sixth best game by Game Informer. Game Trailers ranked it the most breakthrough PC game in 2009, and Game Informer again ranked it the sixth best game that same year. Doom has also been ranked among the best games of all time by Games Master, Hyper, The Independent, Entertainment Weekly, Games TM, JoeVideo.com, Gamer Reactor, Time, Polygon, and The Times, among others, as recently as 2023. Clones, edit. See also, first-person shooter. The success of Doom led to dozens of new first-person shooter games. In 1998, PC Gamer declared it probably the most imitated game of all time. These games were often referred to as Doom clones, with first-person shooter only overtaking it as the name of the genre after a few years. As the first-person shooter genre label had not yet solidified at the time, Doom was described as a first-person perspective adventure and atmospheric 3D action game. Doom clones ranged from close imitators to more innovative takes on the genre. ID Software licensed the Doom engine to several other companies, which resulted in several games similar to Doom, including Heretic, 1994, Hexen, Beyond Heretic, 1995, and Strife, Quest for the Sigil, 1996. A Doom-based game called Chex Quest was released in 1996 by Ralston Foods as a promotion to increase cereal sales. Other games were inspired by Doom, if not rumored to be built by reverse engineering the game's engine, including LucasArts' Star Wars, Dark Forces, 1995. Several other games turned Doom clones, such as Power Slave, 1996, and Duke Nukem 3D, 1996, used the 1995 build engine, a 2.5D engine inspired by Doom created by Ken Silverman with some consultation with John Carmack. Sequel and franchise, edit. Main article, Doom, franchise. After completing Doom, ID Software began working on a sequel using the same engine, Doom 2, which was released to retail on the 10th of October, 1994, 10 months after the first game. GT Interactive had approached ID before the release of Doom with plans to release a retail version of Doom and Doom 2. ID chose to create the sequel as a set of episodes rather than a new game, allowing John Carmack and the other programmers to begin work on its next game, Quake. Doom 2 was the United States' highest-selling software product of 1994 and sold more than 1.2 million copies within a year. Doom 2 was followed by an expansion pack from ID, Master Levels for Doom 2, 1995, consisting of 21 commissioned levels and over 3,000 user-created levels for Doom and Doom 2. Two sets of Doom 2 levels by different amateur map-making teams were released together by ID as the standalone game Final Doom, 1996. Doom and Doom 2 were both included, along with previous ID games, in the ID Anthology compilation, 1996. The Doom franchise has continued since the 1990s in several iterations and forms. The video game series includes Doom 3, 2004, Doom, 2016, and Doom Eternal, 2020, along with other spin-off video games. It additionally includes multiple novels, a comic book, board games, and 2 films, Doom, 2005, and Doom, Annihilation, 2019. Controversies, edit. See also, list of banned video games by country. Doom was notorious for its high levels of graphic violence and satanic imagery, which generated controversy from a broad range of groups. Doom for the 32X was one of the first video games to be given a mature 17+ rating from the Entertainment Software Rating Board due to its violent gore and nature, while Doom 2 was the first. In Germany, shortly after its publication, Doom was classified as harmful to minors by the Federal Department for Media, harmful to young persons, and could not be sold to children or displayed where they could see it. which was only rescinded in 2011. Doom again sparked controversy in the United States when it was found that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, who committed the Columbine High School massacre on the 20th of April, 1999, were avid players. While planning for the massacre, Harris said in his journal that the killing would be like playing Doom. A rumor spread afterward that Harris had designed a custom Doom level that looked like the high school, populated with representations of Harris's classmates and teachers, which he used to practice for the shooting. Although Harris did design several custom Doom levels, which later became known as the Harris levels, none were based on the school. Doom was dubbed a mass murder simulator by critic and Killology research group founder David Grossman. In the earliest release versions, the level E1M4, Command Control contains a swastika-shaped structure, which was put in as a homage to Wolfenstein 3D. The swastika was removed in later versions, out of respect for a military veteran's request, according to Romero. Community, edit. See also, Doom modding. Doom's popularity and innovations attracted a community that has persisted for decades since. The deathmatch mode was an important factor in its popularity. Doom was the first game to coin the term deathmatch and introduced multiplayer shooting battles to a wide audience. This led to a widespread community of players who had never experienced fast-paced multiplayer combat before. Another popular aspect of Doom was the versatility of its WAD files, enabling user-generated levels and other game modifications. John Carmack and Romero had strongly advocated for mod support, overriding other ID employees who were concerned about commercial and legal implications. Although WAD files exposed the game data, ID provided no instructions for how they worked. Still, players were able to modify leaked alpha versions of the game, allowing them to release level editors within weeks of the game's release. On the 26th of January, 1994, university student Brendan Weber led a group to create the first full-level editor, the Doom Editor utility, leading to the first custom level by Jeff Bird in March. It was followed by countless others, including many based on other franchises like Aliens and Star Wars Total Conversion mods, as well as the Hacked, a level editor first released in 1994 by Greg Lewis that allowed editing of the game engine. Soon after the first mods appeared, ID CEO Wilbur posted legal terms to the company's website, allowing mod authors to charge money without any fees to ID, while also absolving the company of responsibility or support. Doom mods were widely popular, earning favorable comparisons to the official level editions seen in the Ultimate Doom. Thousands of user-created levels were released in the first few years after the release. Over 3,000 such levels for Doom and Doom 2 were included in the official retail release master levels for Doom 2, 1995. WizardWorks released multiple collections of mods of Doom and Doom 2 under the name D-Zone. At least one mod creator, Tim Willits, was later hired at ID Software. Mods have continued to be produced, with the community Cacaoids awarding the best of each year. In 2016, Romero created two new Doom levels, E1M4B, Phobos Mission Control, and E1M8B, Tech Gone Bad. In 2018, for the 25th anniversary of Doom, Romero announced Sigil, an unofficial 5th episode containing 9 levels. It was released on the 22nd of May, 2019, for €6.66 with a soundtrack by Buckethead, and then released again for free on the 31st of May with a soundtrack by James Paddock. A physical release was later produced. A 6th episode, Sigil 2, was released on the game's 30th anniversary, the 10th of December, 2023, again for €6.66 for a digital copy with a soundtrack by Valiant Thor, as well as physical editions on floppy disk. In addition to WAD files, Doom includes a feature that allowed players to record and play back gameplay using files called demos, or game replays. Although the concept of speedrunning a video game existed before Doom, its release coincided with a wave of popularity for speedrunning, amplified by the online communities built on the nascent internet. Demos were lightweight files that could be shared more easily than video files on internet bulletin board systems at the time. As a result, Doom is credited with creating the video game speedrunning community. The speedrunning community for Doom has continued for decades. As recently as 2019, community members have broken records originally set in 1998. Doom has been termed as having one of the longest-running speedrunning communities as well as being the quintessential speedrunning game. Notes, edit. 1. The music for the PlayStation and Sega Saturn ports of the game was composed by Aubrey Hodges, while the 2024 release featured the 2016 Ike for Remake soundtrack by Andrew Hulshult. 2. The 2019 release uses Unity, while the 2024 release uses the KEX engine. References, edit.